John Deere LA145B and S22 horsepower. The engine starts when primed with a little gas or sprayed with starter fluid. In both cases, the air filter is removed to allow for the prime operation. The result is the engine starts and it revs up nicely until the prime fuel is used up. I have removed the fuel line to the pump and completely drained the tank suspecting bad fuel. I installed a new fuel filter and added fresh fuel. Same result. I suspect fuel starvation.
Hello and thank you for choosing this service. My name is XXXXX I will do my very best to get you the answer you need to your question. How are you tonight? Your carburetor is equipped with a fuel shutoff solenoid. To begin, you and I need to do some checking to see if your fuel shutoff solenoid is working properly. This part will have two wires connected to it, and it screws into the bottom of your fuel bowl. Your solenoid have a plunger that is supposed to freely move fully in and out each time you cycle your ignition switch on and off. You should also hear a strong audible click sound coming from this part, when your ignition switch is turned on and also when your ignition switch is turned off. The plunger opens and closes your fuel flow to your carburetor. Check this out and please let me know what happens. We will continue from here. Thanks.
Since it is nighttime, the only click I hear, with the brake pedal depressed, are the headlamps going on and off. No strong audible clicks that I can say related to the fuel shutoff solenoid.
Thanks for this information. If your solenoid is not clicking, then it could be faulty. Sometimes you can place your hand on it and feel the click. If you confirm that it is not working, then we need to make sure it has voltage going to it when your ignition switch is on. You can check for voltage using a 12-volt test light or a multimeter.
On the fuel solenoid,
unplug the connector from your solenoid. With your clutch, brake pedal depressed and your switch on, test for voltage at your connector. If your fuel solenoid is working properly, then check to make sure your fuel pump is pumping fuel to your carburetor. If you are getting fuel to your carburetor and your solenoid is working properly, then our problem is your carburetor.
Understand. But it will be tomorrow morning. I suspect the pump, but I will follow through in the morning. It's dark outside and the boogeyman might get me.
You will need to remove your carburetor and give it a really good cleaning. Be careful and watch out for the boogeyman. Give this a try tomorrow. I will be online around 4 p.m. Central Time. Will this time be okay for you? Here is some information that will be very helpful to you. Carburetor. Also click here.
Okay by me. I try these things in the meantime.
Very good. You have a great night.
I checked for the click for the fuel solenoid, both via sound and touch, and it clicks. I checked the wire with my voltmeter and input reads 12.4 volts.
Thanks for letting me know. I am replying to you via my mobile phone. This tells me that your carburetor will need to be cleaned if you are getting a good flow of fuel to it. I am back online.
I am not getting a flow to it as far as I know. I sense it is fuel starvation. I swapped out the fuel with fresh, installed new fuel line filter and heart the on/off click of the fuel line solenoid. Adding a small amount of gas directly to the carburetor or spray starter fluid leads to the engine starting up until the gas or starter fluid have been consumed. This would lead me to believe the carburetor is working, would it not? If not, do I disconnect the fuel pump at the engine intake, prime the carburetor, start the engine and see if the pump is working? Or do you think the carburetor need a cleaning? Which is most likely to be the culprit?
You are on the right track. Your carburetor is starving for fuel.
Is there something I am missing by adding a slight amount of gas to the carburetor intake, or starter fluid, to get it started? Is that not going directly into the carburetor? Or not?
Remove your fuel hose from your carburetor and spin your engine over. Watch to see if your fuel pump is pumping fuel to your carburetor. Use a suitable container to catch your fuel if it pumps out. If your fuel pump is pumping fuel to your carburetor, then you will need to clean your carburetor.
My spelling was bad when I said I heard the click of the fuel solenoid. It'd make a small click for on and off. Not very loud. I felt it too when I cycled the ignition switch on/off. The electric was checked at the wire for the solenoid and measured 12.4 volts.
That part is probably okay.
Okay, I will do the pump test first tomorrow, followed by cleaning the carburetor. What's a good cleaner to use? I suppose I will have to take the whole thing apart, look for dirt, grime and varnish, and check the float. I'll get on it in the morning and then follow up with you.
If you plan to soak your carburetor first, you can use some Berryman's Chem Dip. You can also use some carburetor cleaner in a can. Just any brand of your choice will work. Make sure you take notes or pictures to help as you are putting everything back together.
What is the main parts to inspect and clean so I don't have pieces everywhere and wind up reassembling with extra pieces lying about?
Check out the links below. Carburetor.
I have the 2 pages regarding disassembly, cleaning and repair you sent me to go by. Wish me luck. This sucker looks complex. I'll get back to you tomorrow with results.
You can start by cleaning your bowl and the underside of your carburetor really good first.
Okay, will do.
I do wish you well. Take your time and this should work for you.
Okay, bye for now.
Very good. Have a good night.
I bought Berryman's 1 gal with the soaker tray in it and also bought Berryman's spray can. Before disassembly I cleaned the externals of the manifold, carburetor, Disassembly began and following your reference sites as guidance it all went smoothly. I soaked the carburetor in the solution and wiped away any visible dirt before removing the bowl, etc. From the looks of it, the carburetor was clean upon disassembly. The float and inlet valve are okay. I removed the emulsion tube and everything is clean and none of the jets are clogged. I did not remove the choke plate as close inspection shows the innards to be clean. I did not remove the top cover plate either. If you sense I should have gone further, please advise. Everything looks squeaky clean after a good bath of the carburetor in the Berryman's solution. If you feel it is necessary to go further, it won't be so bad second time around. I sense that it is all clean inside based on what I did so far. The float works and has no gas in it, and the float needle seems to have a good point and seats well. Tricky little devil. I did not check the fuel pump but will replace it when the part arrives. I did not remove the anti-afterfire fuel solenoid as I could not figure out how to remove it. We tested that yesterday for the clicks. I did lose a hose clamp that only had 2 tangs on it, the third tang was gone. I was seated well at the carb intake, so I swapped it with the one at the fuel pump. I will get one to replace the on at the pump. It got dark out and the no-seams are biting me, so based on your opinion I will complete the task per your instructions, redo or proceed putting it back tomorrow and try it before the pump arrives.
Do you have an air compressor? You can check your fuel solenoid without removing it from your fuel bowl. With your bowl off, plug your connector back into your solenoid. Cycle your ignition switch on and off as you are watching to see if the plunger inside your solenoid is moving in and out. Make sure that it is fully retracting when your switch is on.
Yes, I do.
Okay, after you are finished rinsing your carburetor, blow it out really good. You can also use your Berrymans in the can and clean your fuel solenoid while you have your bowl off. Give it a good cleaning too with your air.
Okay, I can do that. I was only as far as bolting the assembly back to the block, 4 screws on the manifold flanges. Not a problem.
We need a good solid click.
Understand. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Very good. I will be on the lookout for your results. I will be here around 4 p.m. Central Time.
I separated the bowl and watched the plunger as I got the click each time ignition was cycled. Seems to seat okay. Ignition on it clicks and pulls out. When ignition off, it seats itself in the center tower. Putting it all back together. If I gear a new solenoid, is it hard to remove/install?
Greg, I do believe your solenoid is okay. I would try it first and see if it works after you put everything back together again. The solenoid is not hard to replace. You may need to modify a socket in order to the jet inside your bowl as you screw your solenoid out. Donald 41620.0614178009.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.